So let us read the 3 refuges and 5 precepts to begin with. You have it in that piece of paper. I was trying to open it on the computer, and it's not opening for some reason. Let's ignore the parts where you see the prompts and read only the parts where we see the precepts and refuges together. I now take refuge in the Buddha. I now take refuge in the Dhamma. I now take refuge in the Sangha. For the second time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For the second time, refuge in the Dhamma. For the second time, I take refuge in the Sangha. For the third time, I take refuge in the Buddha. For the third time, I take refuge in the Dhamma. For the third time, I take refuge in the Sangha. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from killing or harming living beings on purpose. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from taking what is not given. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from wrong sexual activity. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from telling lies and harsh speech. I undertake to keep the precept to abstain from taking drugs and alcohol. I undertake to be loving and kind to myself and all living beings. 5 reflections. I am subject to old age. I am not exempt from old age. I am subject to illness. I am not exempt from illness. I am subject to death. I am not exempt from death. I will be separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. I am the owner of my karma, the heir of my karma. I have karma as my origin, karma as my relative, karma as my resort. I'll be the heir of whatever karma, good or bad, that I do. Let us read the verses of the Dhammapada together. Mind is the forerunner of all evil states. Mind is chief. Mind made Ade. If one speaks or acts with an unwholesome mind, because of that, suffering follows one, even as the wheel follows the hoof of the draft ox. Mind is the forerunner of all goods. Mind is chief. Mind mera de. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, because of that, happiness follows one, even as one shadow that never leaves. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who harbor such thoughts, hatred is not appeased. He abused me, he beat me, he defeated me, he robbed me. In those who do not harbor such thoughts, hatred is appeased. Hatred is never overcome by hatred in this world. Hatred is only overcome by love. This is an eternal law. In the unessential, we imagine the essential. In the essential, we see the unessential. Anyone who entertains such wrong thoughts never will realize the truth. What is essential, we regard as essential. What is unessential, we regard as unessential. Anyone who entertains such right thoughts will realize the truth. Here, one develops a mind that rejoices now, and in the future, one rejoices. In both states, the well-doer rejoices. One who rejoices a lot will be able to see the purity of their own deeds, speech, and thoughts. When one is happy now, they will be happy in the future. In both states, the well-doer is happy. Thinking I have done good in the past, one becomes happy and will easily experience the blissful state of mind. Though a person recites sacred texts but doesn't act accordingly, that heedless person is like a cowherd who counts others' cows. They have no share in the fruits of the holy life. Though a person recites a sacred text very little, but acts in accordance with the teaching, they give up lust, hatred, and delusion. They truly know what is good, and this leads to a mind that is free from suffering. They cling to nothing here and in the future. In this way, one shares the fruits of the holy life. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Excellent. Let us begin with meditation. and then we can go to a teaching. So prepare yourself for this guided meditation. You may close your eyes and pay attention to your body and to your mind inwardly. Notice that you are inhaling and exhaling without having to think about it. Feel that coolness with each breath, allowing this body to settle and give you the feeling of what may appear to you as a meditation posture. Your upper body upright, shoulders at ease, your neck and spine aligned and in a comfortable position. Not too tight upper body, not too loose upper body. Being very gentle with your sitting position. In your lower body, see your knees bent and receiving your loving kindness, knowing that you will change your posture anytime to avoid any intense pain. And your sitting bones are very much supported with your intentional caring toward your body. You begin applying mindfulness to each breath you are taking. You notice the bodily feeling with each short and long breath you are taking now. Any other bodily feeling anywhere else in your body, away from your breath, whether it is back pain or knee pain or anything else, how they are conditionally arising and vanishing. So you disown them, letting them be. You can't do anything about them. These conditionally arisen feelings, they are not yours. They come and go, so this too shall pass. Now the brain does not have to process too many things, from seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, physical sensations, and thinking. When they all vanish, what is left is awareness that is pure and simple. Now you breathe in sensitive to this body, as in the Satipatthana Sutta, establishing awareness. Notice the bodily movements as you breathe in and breathe out. Your shoulders, anywhere else that moves as you breathe in and breathe out. Your mind runs to the past or to the future. You can look within and see this simple activity of breathing in and breathing out is just enough. Make it a delightful experience. When the mind is tamed, it brings happiness, said the Buddha. It's not chained by force, it is given this time to rest without having to get attached to anything or fight anything or stay neutral. It's just this pure awareness. So the mind leaves the body and stays within the mind, contained. That means you start feeling less from the sense faculties, but more contained within the mind, less involved with the external world, but more focused inwardly, making more space for calmness and tranquility within your being. And you still breathe in and breathe out. However subtle your breath becomes, you notice it. You take delight in that experience. So the mind begins to like this marvelous, wonderful, delightful experience. This pure awareness is supported by moments of loving kindness, moments of seclusion, delight in relinquishment, vimukti, freedom. What is otherwise always known is not known to us. No input from sense faculties, they just vanish as they come. No grudges held against anyone. Is the mind imbued with loving kindness, has its sense of comfort and unbinding love, inwardly and outwardly, with a deep sense of caring and healing toward all beings, everywhere. Whether they are near or far away, may all beings be at ease. May all beings be at ease. Then notice the inclination of your mind. If it runs to a song or anything that you have been doing more and more, welcome it. No resisting. Love and care are given to that experience. Mind is showing its nature. What you feed, it becomes. And slowly and very deeply connected with your inner being, you notice your body is inhaling and exhaling. So mind is that, away from inclinations. Pure, bright, radiant that it becomes. Whatever that has a nature of arising has a nature of ceasing. You stay unbothered, tranquil, and at peace. Like a leaf that moves with the wind. When there is anything visiting this mind, the mind moves. But when everything is so calm and settled in, mind does not move, stays contained, content also, and begins expanding. This is called Mahagata Chitta, mind that has expanded. When any hindrance, impurity hinders our path toward peace, mind gets contracted. This is called Sankhita Chitta, mind affected by hindrances. And notice the expansion and the contraction. When you are pure, when you are aware, to establish more and more awareness, you stay with the subtle movements of your breath, allowing the body to be less visible in this experience, less involved. I will read the Buddha's words of loving kindness so that it will bring us to an end of this meditation. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. Hope you had good meditation.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And so, before we get into any chat, let us learn some teachings. Uh, this day, because I see two young children who are joining us remotely, I wanted to share this perfect teaching that I really like, that helped me in my days as a student. So it goes, the English goes like this. Those who have not led the holy life and have not obtained wealth while young ponder just like old herons in the lake without fish. So toward the end of your life, you are going to have problems when you have not learned any way to earn income or manage income. It's not the earning that is the easy part, but management is the difficult part. So, and I'll tell you more about it. The Pali goes like this. Acharitva brahmacharyam aladha yobbani dhanam jinna konchava jayanti kina macheva pallale. So I encourage you to maybe recite this as often as you can, maybe daily until you memorize it. So this comes to your mind when you feel lazy, and it gives you this inspiration that this is what the Buddha wanted us to do. There's a story behind this. Story comes from the commentary. So there was a rich man named Mahādhana. Maha means huge, Dhana is wealth. He had a son. This boy had not studied anything while young, so he remained quite ignorant. Later, he married the daughter of another rich man who had no education at all. When their parents died, the young couple inherited immense riches. But since they knew only how to spend and not how to earn and look after the money, they became poor very quickly. They lost all of their property and had to become beggars. The Buddha saw them and commented the situation with this verse. He further said that had the young couple study worldly wisdom, they would learn how to increase their riches. Had they renounced the household life, they both could have attained Arahantship, that is, the highest purity of your mind. But since they just wasted their youth away, they lost every opportunity, both material and spiritual. So the simile is, ponder just like old herons in the lake without fish. So old, Jinna Konchava, that is the Pali here. Jinna means old, someone is weak and mind does not support fully when they come to certain age. Although you have all the wishes that I like to do this, I like to do that, but since you have not built a life that has supporting conditions to fulfill these goals, then it becomes hard for you. So what happens in our mind is that Well, in general, when we live in these countries that are developed materially, more materially, people in not so developed countries like in Sri Lanka expect that we should give them more. But the more we give, it looks like they're still poor. And what happens, as I have observed, is that, someone will say, I have taken loans and I have these debts and I don't know how to pay. So it's a problem of decision making, that you can pay their loans, but still they will be in that same situation 5 years later. Why? Because giving money is not solving the problem. It's in the thinking. And when you stop giving sometimes, then they start thinking, okay, this is not how I should live. I should change the way I am thinking. And if you can give even $5 to change the way they think, they will make sure that they earn and then not fall into that same situation. So this is why when anything comes in the way and begins disturbing our peace of mind, especially when we are young, someone is introducing some bad stuff and you think of your 5 precepts and you say, no, and I have promised the Buddha that I have learned to say no to such things, and your mind stay unaffected. I may have said this when you visited Peace House earlier, that we all have this intelligence and it should serve us when the whole world is turning against you. That intelligence is for you. And I say the intelligence is that we have inherited. When we have trained our mind in proper direction, proper channels, it becomes familiar with these different ways of building your life without having to depend on somebody else. You need to feel worthy of such circumstances. And this intelligence gets hijacked by anger, substances, computer games, overusing electronics, and watching news and information that comes our way. And I call this an infodemic more than a pandemic, too much information. So this includes social media and anything that your mind wants too much of, and that is bothering your future progress. And you identify it, forgive yourself for not understanding that this was bothering you. And you slowly find a way to be productive and see that what you have been procrastinating and how you can manage your schedule accordingly and feel the taste of productivity, and see that you can manage your time with that intelligence serving you properly, like I used to do. When I was doing my high school, I had a schedule for me. I had a schedule at school and I had my own schedule. This is so for high school, I had 3 subjects and I studied biology in the morning, chemistry in the afternoon, and physics at night. So this way I was able to prepare for the lessons before the teacher started the new lesson. I was little familiar with the content. So the teachers helped and my own effort, when they all put together, my mind was not struggling. I was familiar with the content. So time management, and also at the time fortunately, we did not have these distracting iPhones, cell phones, or any electronics. So there was less opportunity for the mind to get too involved. That these cell phones have become so smart that you can take it to the bathroom and you forget that you are in the bathroom. Your mind runs quickly into maybe TikTok, and if you have one bathroom at home and other people want to use this bathroom, especially when you are living with roommates, they will not like you because you are using their time. So I think training your mind to also have the common sense that you can't do that. You are living in a shared space. You have to respect and honor other space. That is also part of our intelligence serving us. When someone disciplines your mind this way with a level of mindfulness, knowing that this is harmful, this is not harmful, and seeing also the healthy eating patterns and getting active in your body and burning calories, and also if you have any liking toward sugar, you can cut that. So I can give all these things, but I think you need to see the wisdom of it, how much ignorance we have about these things. And when we have been ignoring the truth, this is also part of ignorance. The seeing of truth is part of our intelligence. This is what the Buddha wanted us to see all the time. See the truth. See that mind is inclined towards something that is tempting and that is harmful to you. See the attachment aspect of it. See that it is arising, and see how your wisdom shows that something that arises, when it's not given too much of, it vanishes. How many days it takes? Some people say 21 days of abstinence can cut that habit and you can develop a new habit. And I also say that you can build memory walls in that room where you live, good memory walls. It's like you come into this peace house and now you see everything new, but then you start coming every day and you start not seeing any of that. Your mind has become habituated just to go straight to the cushion and sit. That is because you know by memory that this is where things are. So when you live in a house, that can be a really large house by the lake, and you even not see the lake. It's like that nun who did the foot pilgrimage with me in Italy said she dreamt of going, living by the beach, and then she was a physician before she became a nun. And when she was a physician, she bought a beach house, and she never went to the beach. That's because the mind did not desire it anymore. It's just not there. It's just right there, and she's so used to living in that house, and it built these memory walls that you keep hitting against. Like in the pandemic, I saw children who are supposed to succeed well in their studies built these memory walls within a room, and that you keep hitting against that. You don't realize that that side is this side. And you just need to think about what I'm trying to say here, that your mind builds these habits and you don't even realize that some things remind you of some stuff, like bed reminds you of TikTok, and the bathroom reminds you of Facebook, Twitter. So these walls keep devouring your mind and taking too much of your time, and then you lose interest in what is so important to you as a young person, and you lose discipline. And then your mom does something important like making tea, something useful to you, and you are focused on social media, and she brings this tea to you, and you are like, Mom, you are so annoying, go away. And you become unkind without noticing that you are really unkind. And this has been happening a lot. And I was like that toward my parents when I was in that age. That they don't understand what is going on. It is your intelligence being hijacked by emotion, anger, frustration. And it is deeply rooted somewhere in a sense of control, sense of being controlled by something that you are attached with. So when that starts happening, when you are becoming irritable, unplug yourself and take a deep breath and exhale and see, what is happening in where is, your mind these days? And where is your intelligence? Where is, how ignorant you are about certain things? You see, in today's meditation, without even having to make some effort, we slowly went toward loving kindness. That was my experience. I trust that was your experience too. So, this Gatha, this wisdom of the Buddha says, manage your time properly and learn how to earn money, also how to manage money. That is the biggest secret. So one last thing, when I was in Canada, I went to this commercial place. Someone in our community opened a big store. So we were invited to offer a blessing chanting for the inauguration ceremony. There I said, the secret is not earning money, but management of money. And he sure knew what I was talking. When you learn how to manage it, then you become more established, and there is more investment ideas that are beneficial to you, and you take risk properly, and you are able to spend without trouble. And there is more wisdom like this, Uttanavato, Satimato, that we can discuss another time in another session. But do you have any questions before we wrap up for the day? It's 9:28 now. Or do you feel that this was maybe not what you wanted to hear? Because it's easy that, there's this mind knows that, this is helpful, but at the same time, there's, also rejection of these ideas coming early in the morning. Any thoughts that you like to share?
Peaceful, Hamrana.
Thank you. Peaceful, you say?
Yeah, and then also like it is good that we can hear from from not from the the parents or the teachers, but also from the Swaminathan. So and the story that it was very short, but it has the right meaning, so it's not too long to lost the idea. So it's
Thank you. Yeah, it's all because of our beautiful two children that I thought this will be beneficial. Sometimes you don't even know that these gathas exist.
Yeah.
That, you know, the
Yeah.
Buddha. Yeah, say more, please.
Yeah, the other thing I want to tell you is that when we say Namo Tassa, you said that in the not in Pali. So which is really good for the kids to hear that, because then they know, even they know a little bit. So once in a while we talk about the meaning, but when you say it in that way, it's really tells you like what are you talking about, or why are you telling me? Yeah, so which is something like I think so every time when we do it in Pali. So I think we should do it that way. So we just then they know like every day why they're doing it.
Yeah, because this is the language they use every day, and why not, let them know what the meaning of these things are. So
Yeah.
yeah. Do you have things to say? Great. Yeah, I like if you can come back whenever you can. And I'd love to learn more and teach or sit together. This is really wonderful that it is benefiting you. Okay, so let's end the session by sharing merits, and that will be it. May the suffering ones be suffering free, fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation and us. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you. Have a great rest of the weekend and see you next time.
Thank you. Good Sabbath.